Hello everyone, welcome to Analog IAS Current Affair Analysis for 8th June 2021. We'll be discussing this couple of issues in today's video. Belligerence and pushback. In this article, we come across a very important term called the wolf warrior diplomacy. Now, what do you understand by this wolf warrior diplomacy? There is a Chinese movie, an action movie, and inspired from that, the diplomats of China, especially in the 21st century, adopted a very aggressive style of diplomacy where they might even exhibit tendency of aggression towards a sovereign state in case they don't get their demands fulfilled. So this is actually seen in the case of Xi Jinping's diplomacy. And before Xi Jinping, you have another leader called Deng Xiaoping. So Deng Xiaoping actually was completely opposite to the diplomatic style of Xi Jinping. He emphasized avoiding controversy and use of cooperation as a rhetoric to get their job done. And there are a lot of critiques for this policy. And after the COVID-19 pandemic, where China was accused of lack of transparency, this became even more aggressive. And China, especially under Xi Jinping, looks at this description of wolf warrior diplomacy as a way to contain the anti-China hostility from the Western world. So, this anti-China tendency is particularly visible, according to China, in the formation of Quad. Now, what do you understand by this Quad? We have discussed this elaborately in the month of April and March, when the first leaders summit of Quad happened. A quick recap: what exactly is this quadrilateral framework? So this Quad framework is nothing but the framework between four different countries. You have India, you have US, Australia, and Japan. These four countries, they want to safeguard the interests of democratic nations in the region known as Indo-Pacific region. Now, what is the significance of this region? This word Indo-Pacific is a very recent concept and evolved especially in the last 10-15 years only. So even before that, this was existing in policy circles, but it did not quite get the prominence that it has in the present times. One of the reasons behind the popularity of this term is an understanding that Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean, they are linked strategically. Why are we saying they are linked strategically? Because these areas consist of India and China, where there is a huge population, and generally it is believed that Asia is the 21st century engine of growth. This economic growth in the 21st century of Asia depends largely on the freedom of navigation of trade vehicles or trade vessels in the Indian Ocean as well as Pacific Ocean. So this is the reason why majority of the world's trade passes through these oceans, and that is the reason why this Indo-Pacific became so important with the rise of China as the factory of the world. So if we actually control this region, we will have control over world economy to a large extent. So the term was also previously used in the context as Asia Pacific. So when we're talking about Asia Pacific, it means that Asia was taken as the center, but the recent emphasis on the word Indo signifies the fact that even India is considered to be a very major partner. Now this Quad grouping is generally seen as anti-China by China. Here we have to understand that Quad is a military grouping, whereas the term Indo-Pacific is generally associated with economics. So it is important not to mix this military with economics, Military needs are quite different. They are for safety purposes. Quad is for safety purposes, whereas the term Indo-Pacific generally is about the economic trade interests. However, terrorism and fear of assertion by a particular country, that is China, is one major factor which is acting as a threat to this Indo Pacific dream. The vision of Indo Pacific region, as envisaged by Quad, is to ensure that the region is inclusive, free, open, and rules based order. And this vision is to ensure that there is security and prosperity across the countries in the region. Even in the context of the pandemic, they created a Quad vaccine partnership. So, in the wake of all these developments, China felt it was being threatened. Now, the immediate step that China took was to start negotiating with its allies and partners, and reaching out to Bangladesh was also a part of this efforts. But the characteristic feature of the wolf warrior diplomacy is exhibited by China in this context. China had the audacity to actually warn Bangladesh not to take any action that indicates that it is willing to join Quad if a partnership offer is extended to Bangladesh. Now, in normal circumstances, whenever we are talking about multilateral forums, various multilateral fora, they have membership based on the sovereign interests of each and every country. Respecting the sovereignty of every country is at the heart of all these multilateral institutions. Now, if Quad eventually becomes a multilateral institution, China cannot dictate terms to a sovereign country. But the fact that China had the audacity to do that and get away thinking that Bangladesh is actually dependent on China is a major cause of concern and gives more weightage to the idea of Quad. Even though it is not explicitly mentioned, Quad had this objective to contain China, and the vision statement actually clearly delineates this point without even mentioning China. So, if China continues to carry out this kind of wolf warrior diplomatic efforts, it will give more weightage to Quad. And in this context, India's role in establishing a rules based world order. Rules based world order. You have to use these keywords in your answer. So, this rules based world order, which supports the existence of multiple multilateral fora, is something that we should aim for to maintain checks and balances. And India should also try to further the objective of its allies as well as itself. So, in international politics, this turn is called the realistic turn, that is, putting one's self interest above any other consideration. So, right now, the diplomacy and the diplomatic efforts across the world have taken this realistic turn in the wake of this crisis. Therefore, we have every reason to believe that Quad is going to gain momentum in the future as well. That is the gist of this article. School ranks. This article is in the context of the Education Ministry's Performance Grading Index, which was released for 2019-20. Actually, this Performance Grading Index is a tool. This tool provides insights on the status of school education in states as well as union territories. So, this Performance Grading Index was for the first time published in 2019 with the reference year as 2017 and 18. Now, the present version is the third such status. So, the objective is to propel the states and union territories to undertake interventions that would bring about the much desired optimal education outcomes. So, these interventions are therefore based on the desire to have outcomes. It will actually do that by pinpointing the gaps in the education. This pinpointing activity will be mostly towards governance reforms, and other measures that are needed to handle this crisis in education in certain levels. So, what is the implementing agency? We have the Department of School and Literacy, or School Education and Literacy. The short form is DOSEL. So, the source of information, if we take a look at the various indicators that are used in this, is actually the National Achievement Survey. This is actually taken up by NCERT. Also, we have collateral data from midday meal scheme. We have the public financial management system information that is taken up, and also the Shagun portal, which is actually an activity to ensure that vital information relating to the availability of nearby schools, the feedback mechanism for public participation, and all this is available on a single platform of the Department of School Education and Literacy. So, the major finding of this PGI is that South states as well as Western states are in a much better position when compared to the Central Indian states. Central India and North India, these states have a huge problem. Not only there is a problem of resource crunch, there is also a problem of quality in whatever is being delivered. If you compare in the present context of the pandemic, where education is given through digital medium, if you compare the South or the West together as a group with the Central and North India and Northeast India, these states have a huge problem in the digital divide as well. In order to augment the present level of digital presence through different kinds of technologies and tools, South Indian states and Western Indian states are at a much better place than the other states. So we have to document the best practices and realize the potential of education through digital medium in these states as well. If you take a look at the indicators of PGI, you will notice that despite the fact that these states are doing better, they can get better when we have proper governance systems in place that are transparent and accountable. Education is the responsibility of both center as well as states. So they should work in tandem and ensure that the problem of access as well as infra should be handled. That is the gist of this article.